recent months, the entertainment industry has been shaken by news and leaked information revealing shocking and dark details about Hollywood stars behind the scenes, about white parties and secret closed after-parties, whose organizer, rapper, and producer P. Diddy was arrested this September, after which more and more information began leaking about behind the scenes of luxury parties, about the famous actors, musicians, and even politicians involved, and their connection to the dark side of these parties. Something that was kept secret from the whole world suddenly came to light, revealing shocking details about many celebrities' side of life they had hidden from the public. Why did many teenage stars' path to fame cost them a broken life? And how does it all connect to the white parties? All this and much more you'll see in the rest of the video. Before we proceed with the video, allow me to introduce something truly extraordinary. Watch this. Bad grammar? Perfect text instantly. Need a translation? It understands every language. Or just tell it what to do. Easy. This tool has a high skill cap. It's like having writing superpowers that boosts your internet elo.
Mom, do you know what this means?
I've used it, and now I can't even imagine communicating without it. Spellfast AI, the link is in the description. P. Diddy, or by his real name, Sean Combs, was arrested on September 17th of this year, facing charges of human sex trafficking, exploitation, blackmail, racketeering, and sexual violence. His arrest revealed a possible network of criminal activity, thus threatening to bring to light many secrets connected to the highest echelons of the entertainment industry, or in other words, potentially unmasking the dirty secrets of the world's leading industry. Not only is the 54-year-old hip-hop magnate accused of various serious crimes, but many other world-famous stars are also involved, both as victims and as accomplices. Though for now, only at the level of rumors, but everything could change rapidly at any moment, as new victims and witnesses are given testimonies in the case daily. As it turns out, all those conspiracy theories about society's elite secretly seducing minors in their villas, it seems, were telling us the truth. Sean Combs' empire's collapse and decline began when his former girlfriend, singer Cassie, Cassandra Ventura, turned to federal court, accusing Combs of violence against her. Violence that lasted for 10 years while they were together. Combs controlled her entire life, her credit cards, where she went, and even doctor appointments. In other words, literally kept the singer in slavery. Here's video from 2016 hotel surveillance cameras showing Cassandra trying to hastily leave the hotel while the rapper sleeps. But moments later, he is seen running after her, eventually catching up. After which he knocks Cassie to the floor, kicks her, and literally drags her back to the room. A full list of celebrities who attended Diddy's white parties has also spread across the internet like lightning. In the court case against Combs for sexual assaults, the current official victim count stands at 120 victims, of which 25 are minors, and the youngest of them is only a 9-year-old child. This has prompted many to reconsider Diddy's close relationship with singer Justin Bieber when he was still a teenager. A clip has become popular showing Bieber at age 15 and Combs, who was already 40 at the time. This is basically the beginning of their relationship, moments before Diddy made Bieber a global star. The video shows Bieber and Combs standing next to each other, and Diddy, looking at the camera, explains that they'll spend the next 48 hours together, adding that it's every teenager's dream. Throughout the video, he shows Bieber a luxury car, saying that when he turns 16, he can get the keys to own it. He also points to a luxurious house, saying that at 18, it will become his property. At the time, no one saw anything strange in this video, but with all the recent revelations, it has taken on a different color. Bieber himself has commented that being famous at such a young age, he went through hell, and possibly he means exactly participating in Diddy's parties and more. Another video has also become popular online where Bieber is slightly older and Combs has come to him asking why he doesn't party with him like before. The young singer is noticeably nervous and responds to him, "You reached out to my representatives but never asked for my number." Famous R&B star Usher is also connected with Diddy in possible forced involvement in party orgies at an early age, who later became Bieber's mentor when Usher himself had grown up and gained fame, with both creating several musical collaborations together. They received the expected fame, however, it cost them broken psyches. This is my very first video, and I'm just starting this journey. Starting from 0 subscribers, it's an uphill battle with the algorithm. Your support doesn't just mean the world, it helps this channel break through. Hit subscribe. Your support means everything when you're starting from scratch. Usher hasn't commented on the situation himself, but there are witnesses who claim that after one of the parties, Usher was even taken to the hospital. Now let's turn to those who were possibly P. Diddy's accomplices. Here we must mention music's most influential couple, rapper Jay-Z and his wife singer Beyoncé. Their close friendship and presence together at all white parties and beyond has raised many questions in society. The roots of friendship and collaboration between Jay-Z and Combs can be traced back to the distant 90s. They were always in the same elite circle of the music industry. The question is why Jay-Z continued close relations with P. Diddy despite rumors and accusations that swirled around him in society for several months before his arrest. It's a known fact that Jay-Z participated in practically all of his organized white parties, but never commented on what happens behind the scenes and never even gave any hints, like other famous musicians did in interviews or their songs, such as 50 Cent, Kanye West, and Eminem. It should be noted that these mentioned artists weren't afraid to point out the dark things happening behind the scenes of white parties for years. However, returning to Jay-Z, his silence raised many questions. Perhaps the rapper knew about what's happening but chose to stay aside and not talk about it to avoid damaging his reputation. His wife Beyoncé's also continues to remain silent. There's a dominant theory that the couple was directly involved in everything happening, and now they're simply trying to clean their reputation and destroy various evidence that could point to their connection. There's also a theory that each industry has its own big controllers who are subordinate to some huge secret organization, Illuminati, and that there are usually 3 of them because when one is sacrificed, then 2 remain and continue to control the industry further. There are even theories claiming that actually the mastermind behind everything is Jay-Z himself, who might also be responsible for the deaths of famous rappers Tupac and Notorious B.I.G. Other potentially involved celebrities continue to deny everything as well. For example, famous actor Leonardo DiCaprio claims in interviews that he hasn't attended parties since the early 2000s. However, there's real evidence that he attended a party, for instance, in 2016. Interestingly, immediately after P. Diddy's arrest, DiCaprio left the USA and currently lives in Italy. A kind of mess has formed around this case, as truly many people from society's elite participated in these parties, including various high-ranking politicians. Basically, everyone was there, but what exactly each person did, and whether they participated in the closed event, isn't really clear. And considering that the FBI conducted this investigation for about 15 years until gathering enough evidence, it only means that more heads could roll soon and many shocking news about other celebrities could be revealed. Combs used his power and money to force people to do various perverse things in his so-called freak-off shows, which were part of the white parties, or more correctly, the party after parties. Freak-off was sexual performances involving hired escort workers, and many drugs were specially purchased for this event. Witnesses reported that Combs himself participated in many of the sessions, but other times he simply watched. All orgies were recorded and saved, possibly so Combs could watch them later privately or to potentially blackmail someone with the recordings if necessary. I'll address the freak-off shows more broadly a bit later. Now I want to tell you in more detail about the white parties. What are they and how did they gain popularity among society's elite? And then I'll continue about the dark side of the parties, or the already mentioned freak-offs. P. Diddy's parties have become a legend in the showbiz world. Everyone who has heard about P. Diddy also knew about his grandiose parties. They were attended by world-famous musicians, actors, and even politicians. The parties have a special dress code. Guests must arrive in white clothes. However, behind the glamour and luxury lurked a dark side, which no one openly talked about for a long time. The white parties became a symbol of P. Diddy's success and status in the music and fashion world. It all began in the late 90s when Sean Combs organized the first party of this type. The goal was clear from the start. It had to become an event where each guest could feel like part of the elite. And that's exactly what the rapper succeeded in, as it's no wonder the parties became an annual tradition for more than 20 years. The events took place in various beautiful locations, such as Long Island and Beverly Hills. It was a place where the world's most influential people gathered. The white dress code wasn't a coincidence. As for P. Diddy, the color white symbolized not only purity and elegance, but also being chosen. Everyone who arrived at the parties automatically became members of an exclusive club. Now let's turn to the darkest pages of P. Diddy's biography, the freak-off show part, which is the closed part of the parties. It has become a kind of symbol for the elite and perverse world that he created around himself, which in turn confirms all stereotypes about the behind-the-scenes entertainment of the elite and wealthy. Freak-off manifested as multi-day orgies, where power, money, and drugs created an atmosphere of complete freedom for the chosen guests. Freak-off was the extreme part of the white parties that happened behind completely closed doors, and only the chosen ones could get there. There is information that Combs's villa even has underground tunnels, where possibly all the dark and perverse things took place. After midnight, all doors were closed, and those who managed to leave left, but those who stayed, they were in for a crazy and traumatic experience. The closed parts participants were not only celebrities, but also businessmen, politicians, and criminal world authorities who could afford whatever they wanted without fearing consequences. Freak-off shows were like a demonstration of permissiveness and superiority. Testimonies from people who have been there sound like scenes from horror movies. One witness, who wished to remain anonymous, remembered telling that in the late stages of the party, the atmosphere changed rapidly. It said that after midnight, special cocktails were brought, consisting of 3 prohibited intoxicating substances, adding pink dyes. Information has emerged that it was the so-called pink cocaine, which consisted of both opiates and stimulants. After drinking such a cocktail, people began to lose control of themselves, resulting in many men and women becoming victims of sexual harassment and violence. Witnesses say that refusing to participate in the dark orgies was practically impossible. The freak-off part created an atmosphere of fear and pressure in many. Most importantly, everything happening was filmed with cameras. For many participants, such a night turned into a severe psychological trauma. Women who participated in some of the freak-off shows said they were often there against their will. This, by the way, is also where the human trafficking charge stems from. Many of them were hired as models and dancers, but in the late part of the parties, they were forced to participate in orgies, threatening them with retaliation and career destruction if they refused. These court testimonies reflect obvious coercion by force, forced drug use, and violence. Most disturbing is the fact that most of the women were very young. Some had just started their modeling or dancing careers, and many hadn't even reached 18 years of age. All orgies could last up to 30 hours, and participants afterward had to literally be revived, connected to IVs. One of the first to publicly reveal the horrifying details about freak-off behind the scenes was none other than Cassie's, Combs's former girlfriend who sued him in court. She claimed that during her relationship with Combs, she was forced to participate in such events, despite not wanting to at all. The orgies were recorded so that P. Diddy could blackmail his employees, artists, and also his girlfriends with the video recordings, threatening to leak the video materials or harm them in other ways. This is exactly how he strengthened his empire and gained enormous power under his control. His empire was based on fear, as he literally kept half of Hollywood on a leash and manipulated people. During a search of P. Diddy's house, investigators found many items that immediately became a hot topic of discussion in mass media. Particular attention was drawn to the large number of famous Johnson's baby body oil bottles found in several rooms of his residence. There were more than 1,000. Such a discovery instantly raised many questions, as it's not a typical thing that an influential producer and businessman would keep at home, especially in such quantities. Moreover, against the background of such accusations as sexual exploitation, participation in orgies, such findings took on a very dark tone. In addition to the body oil bottles, a series of other items were found that, according to investigators, could have been used in sex games. At present, Combs faces 100 different charges, and each new testimony against him adds weight to them. The main charges are related to his participation in sexual exploitation, organizing criminal schemes, and committing physical as well as psychological violence. The case involves not only women, but also people he worked with in production and business. The FBI had been conducting the investigation for at least 15 years, and during all this time, gathered as much evidence as possible to arrest the producer. The sexual exploitation charges are mainly related to orgies that took place during the so-called white parties. There are already enough victims and witnesses who have given their testimonies about what they experienced during the closed parties. If the court finds Diddy guilty, he faces several decades decades of prison time. Among the most serious charges is also organizing criminal schemes related to human trafficking, which means that the women who participated in the events were not just guests, but also part of a larger system that dealt with transporting people from place to place. So many serious charges don't indicate anything bright about the influential producer's future. The approximately 15-year-long investigation into human sexual exploitation, racketeering, blackmail, and organizing criminal schemes has revealed the dark backstage of the elite to society, unmasking and showing the party organizers' true face. However, there were certainly many accomplices in this process who helped the famous producer implement all this, and possibly more famous people will be unmasked soon. What do you think? Will many more shocking news about all the previously loved actors and musicians be revealed among Hollywood's elite? And how will this affect people's attitudes towards them? Write in the comments. Take care.